morning, everybody. Another day, another set of results from Southern Cross. Here we are presenting 5 drill holes. They're slightly different drill holes than normal. They're what we call navigational drill holes. So and we abbreviate those to Navi drill holes. And what we have is a parent hole, and we put the rod string down the old or the parent hole, and we have a downhole motor that we can control with water pressure, and we spin off that parent hole and then deviate off, and we can deviate off at any direction you like with a Navi drill. But it has the benefit of starting at 400, 500, 600 meters wherever you wish in the parent hole, so you don't have to re-drill that. And it's good, a very good technique for drilling in much more detail. And that's what we've done here. We've presented 5 holes that have been deviated off 2 parents. And what we were trying to do there was test the continuity of high grade gold. So we're drilling around some high grades, and well, it worked, and the grades were hit where we're expecting them to be hit, and the grades were commensurate with the high grades adjacent in adjacent holes. So 3 or 4 very important points around this press release. So one, that it provided predictability of structure. So we hit the vein sets where we anticipated. So that's great, but that doesn't show necessarily that the grade is there. So if you've got a high grade and a low grade, that's and then a low grade and a high grade, that's what you'd call a nuggety deposit. But that's not what we see here. We see a very low coefficient of variation as opposed to a higher one. A coefficient of variation is a measure of the erraticness or consistency of any body. If you're under 2 in any gold mineralized system, you're on a good pathway, and that's what we have. These veins that we drilled out here were about 1.6 CV coefficient of variation before, and they maintained that very low coefficient of variation after drilling these holes. So it showed not only was the structure consistent and we hit it in space where we planned to, but the grade, the continuity of the grade geostatistically was very good also. What we also found was, because there was gaps in larger space drilling, and we've come back and drilled at 15 to 20 meter spacing with these holes, we found more high grade zones that just through gaps in our larger space drilling we hadn't found. So there was new vein sets, a number of new vein sets that we found just with the infill drilling. So that augurs well, very much to the point that the more infill drilling we do, we just may find that again because there's such large gaps between our broader space drilling. And also the technique, the Navi drill technique, it took a bit of learning in this deposit. We've got a great drill team out there, and they really nailed it. And now we can use this Navi drilling technique when we go to drill out this deposit. Of course, our main aim at the moment is to make this bigger, but we've got 5 rigs on site, a 6th rig coming in November, at the end of November, that are focused on expansion, but also expansion internally within the more densely drilled areas. When we come back and drill out at that 25 by 50 meter spacing, which is what we need for at least an inferred resource, this Navi drilling technique will be very handy. So there were a number of very high grades right through this whole data set. You will see them across your screen now, no doubt. But you can see some very high grade gold results, up into the hundreds, 173 grams per ton gold over thin intervals, but very high grades. We saw wider zones, up to 8 meters wide at times. The best result was 1.3 meters at 52.6 grams gold. But also another key point was, because we're in the top 400 or 500 meters of this deposit, we saw some very high grade antimony results. So we're seeing commonly 2 to 10% antimony. This is a key byproduct, potential byproduct for this project. About 20% of the in situ value of Sunday Creek is from antimony. And of course, antimony is now no longer the most important metal that you've never heard of. Everybody's heard of antimony now with the Chinese restrictions on exports that went in mid-September. So both great gold results and great antimony results. So as always with so many drill rigs, 5 drill rigs drilling today, 6 by the end of November, Southern Cross has always got news flow. So always keep your eyes on the news flow. There's 12 holes that have currently been drilled and are either being logged or in the laboratory, and another 5 holes with those 5 drill rigs operating in progress as we speak. Of course, this is on top of the news release we had yesterday, which was a key milestone in the merger of Southern Cross and Mawson to bring consolidation of the ownership of this wonderful asset into one company and have it dual listed. And that should all be done and dusted by the end of the year also. So great results flowing into that strong corporate news flow.